That's a really good question. I think a team playing more physical, sustained over 40 minutes is something that could get this team in trouble. A team that really prides itself on defense, and then on the flip side, is going to have a great shooting performance. It's kind of hard to pinpoint one bit of kryptonite for this group because the depth that this team has, they can play a lot of different ways. If they need to get more physical, have another post presence along with Charles Bediako, Brandon Miller can be more physical at the 4 spot and really act like a 5. You've seen Nick Pringle come off the bench. He had some good moments off the bench last night when Alabama needed some size and some rebounding. And then Alabama is also able to play very guard-heavy, and they just have so many players on the floor that can kind of get them out of a shooting funk. I'm not ever too worried about a shooting slump for the Crimson Tide because we know that Javon Quinterly and then Mark Sears do a really good job creating some offense. Sears last night had one of his tougher performances, only going 1 of 7 from the floor, missing on all 5 of the 3-point attempts. But you saw Quinterly come off the bench, and he was able to get to the rim. He was able to knock down a 3-pointer. So there's so much good depth on this team. It's still really hard to pinpoint one thing that would get them in trouble other than just maybe an off night shooting for Alabama and then somebody being more physical with them sustained over 40 minutes. We saw Mississippi State do it for about 25 to 30 minutes last night, but it takes a team, I think, doing that over 40 minutes. And I think the only real example we have of that so far this season would be possibly UConn, because the Gonzaga game, there were moments where Alabama could have righted the ship and gotten right back in and won that game at Birmingham. But I think the UConn game is maybe the only game where that's really happened over 40 minutes, that the toughest team on the floor was on the other sideline.